Hi everyone. So this story takes place quite a few years ago when my nephew was just a little guy. He was like 4 or 5 years old at the time, and we were going inside of Target, and he had a tendency of like touching things and wandering away with my sister. So I told him ahead of time. I said, "You are gonna sit in the cart," and he didn't want to sit in the cart. So I said, "That's fine." I said, "I'm gonna let you stand and walk on the outside of the cart, but you need to keep your hand on the cart at all times." I said, "You see all these people that work here that have the red shirts on?" He said, "Yeah, there's a lot of them." And I said, "Yeah." I go, "Do you know that they watch for little kids that are misbehaving and the ones that are wandering away? So you need to keep your hand on the cart or they're going to keep you here and you're going to have to work here forever." And he says, "Okay." So he agrees. He's going to keep his hand on the cart, and we're doing our shopping. And I'm looking at something on one of the shelves, and I look over and there's no little hand on the cart. There's no little guy standing there. So I instantly started to panic, and I'm calling his name and he's not answering me. I'm like, "Where did this kid go?" So I go over by the toys cuz that's where kids always end up, right? And I see him standing there looking at the Legos, and I'm standing at the end of the aisle and I see one of the Target employees with the red shirt, and I go up to her and I ask her if she would please go up to the little boy that's looking at the Legos. And I explained to her who I was. And I said, "I'm trying to teach him a lesson about wandering away." I said, "Can you please go up to him and ask him if he's lost?" So she agreed. She said, "Oh, okay, no problem." So she walked up to him and asked him if he was lost. And he instantly started to cry. So I go over there because I didn't want him to have a panic attack. So I go over there and he's like, "She asked me if I was lost," and he was very, very afraid. So I said, "Well, are you willing to get in the cart now? Because I told you if you stay wandering around the store, they're gonna want to keep you here." And he didn't want he didn't want to agree to that. So he climbs in the cart. We finish our shopping, and then everything's fine. We go home, and I explain to my family about how he wandered away and about the pretty much the lie I made up with the Target employee. Now, fast forward that to the end of last year, and we are having a family function, and we needed to get some charcoal and some other things. We're having like a barbecue. And so I said, "Well, I'll go get those things." So I was gonna go to Target, and my nephew said, "Well, I'll come with you." Now, mind you, my nephew's now 27 years old, and he's about 6'4". He's a big boy now, and so he's with me in the Target store, and we get all the things, and we're standing in the checkout line, and I said, "Oh, I forgot to grab something." I said, "Just wait here for a minute. I'm gonna go get something off of the shelf. I'll be right back." So I go over and I'm looking at whatever it was. I think it was like barbecue sauce, and I turn around and there he is standing there, the 6'4" young man with the shopping cart, scared me half to death because he kind of snuck up on me. And I said, "What are you doing over here? I thought you were waiting for me in the checkout line." He goes, "No, I didn't want the Target people to think that you wandered away because you let go of the cart." So it kind of backfired on me. I guess the moral of the story is don't tell children lies to make them behave. Because when I went home, I told my family this story at that barbecue, and they just thought it was the funniest thing that he remembered after all of this time about the story at the Target and how the people in the red shirts will keep little kids who don't want from wandering away.